Let me tell you why nobody liked me. And for years and years and years, I was like, why don't nobody like me? Well, here's the answer. Let's start in the beginning. I was raised in a split household. My mother and father were together, and then they split up before I was born. But they still co-parented. They were very responsible. They didn't leave me out. They just 50-50 everything. So half the year I was with my mom and half the year I was with my dad. The first half of the year I was with my mom. So originally she was single. Then she got married. And I had a stepfather. And he was military and things of that nature. So I learned basically a different caliber of lifestyle, a different standard of living, better education, things of that nature. I was very articulate. Then I was with my dad, which was very much into the neighborhood. A lot of community, a lot of grants and scholarships and programs for low to medium household incomes and things of that nature. I didn't even know we had government peanut butter. I just know we had a peanut butter with the big peanut on the top. And we made it happen with all the kids and everyone else working together. We made it happen. So I struggled for years. I look to the side because I'm looking at myself because it's a very vulnerable moment. And don't judge me. But I struggled for years because I didn't know who I was. Like, for instance, a simple example of my mother used to be a banker. I thought she was a bartender. I was a child and it started with a B, so I didn't know. But she was a banker and she used to do midnight deposits. So most kids put in the bed and they go to sleep for school. But I had to stay up to make sure my mama made it home safely, to make sure that she was okay. So my grandmother would give me like coffee and teas and make sure I stay up late at night. And I was like, okay, grandma, I'm up. She's like, gotta make sure mommy make it home. Gotta make sure mommy's okay. And for years and years, I stayed up late night, even to today. I have my coffee at midnight, and around midnight to 3 o'clock, I have a cup of coffee. And I remember making sure my mom was okay. And then between 3 and 4, 4 and 5, I would say, my dad was a store manager and he would wake up. And I would have to make the coffee for the family, my grandmother, my grandfather, and everything like that. So, late nights, early mornings, ever since I was like 2. So people were like, dang, you up and it's late? What are you doing? I'm like, working, making videos, writing books, studying for a class. I used to take 6 classes instead of 4, like the regular students, because it costs the same. So I took a year and a half worth of classes in the same period of time. Back to the original story, why nobody liked me. So I had 2 ways of doing things at the same time. Actually 3. My mom, my dad, my grandma, and I just want to make sure everyone got along and everyone was okay. So, for instance, my mom's an alpha female. Don't play with her. She's a woman of God, but don't play with her. And my dad is an alpha male, but he's more, let's talk about it, let's communicate. He's more like a Sigma in my imagination. Maybe that's why I like men who are alpha. But they don't have to yell. They don't have to argue. They don't have to tell you what to do. They can suggest, and you know that that's a good decision because you trust their leadership and their guidance. And I remember the cafeteria, the dreaded cafeteria, where I had to make sure I had to sit at the lunch table with people With my mom, it was easy because it's the first day of school, everyone's together. But by the second half with my dad, everyone always got their seat, where they sitting on the bus, who they friends with, everything else, and I had to start over from scratch. So I remember going to different seats and they were like, seats taken. I'm like, I'm just trying to eat. Like, I don't know you. You ain't my friend. And I remember this girl, I used to like her brother. And she was just like, we don't know you. You ain't grow up with us. And I was like, dang. I'm just trying to be friends. Like, I can't help that I wasn't here. And that my family was like, you know. And I remember sitting at a table with my head down, crying, saying nobody wants me, nobody likes me. And then there was this girl who walked by. She was tall, lanky. People thought that she wasn't fine, but she was just nice. And she said, what you crying for? I'm like, thinking in my head, talking about my mom and my dad and everything else. But instead of saying all that in a calm tone, I screamed, nobody likes me. She said, girl, I don't even like myself. Come on, let's play. And I was like, she get it. I'm not perfect. It wasn't that I wasn't beautiful. Back then I was skinny. Back then I was popular. I could be like everyone else. I just didn't grow with them. I was just always the outcast on the outside of everything. 4 plus 5 is 9 and 1 plus 8 is 9. Most people go up the middle and try to be in the middle and not rock the boat. I stayed on the boundaries and on the outside, and as long as I didn't cross those lines, I was good. And the more that I struggled, the more I realized nobody liked me. And this is why nobody liked me. One, I was different. I wasn't like one or the other. I grew up in 2 different households with 2 different ways of thinking, 2 different mentalities, 2 different perspectives. I was just different. Most people have problems with one self-image. I had 2. My mother did it one way, my daddy did it another way. And if I did it the way my dad did at my mom's house, I would get in trouble. I would do that the way my mom did at my dad's house, I would get in trouble. So I had to learn how to split who I was into 2 separate people and do it 2 separate ways at any given time. And then the more that I get used to who I am as a person and linked in and dialed in, authenticity, I have to be honest with me. So the mom side, the dad side, the grandma side, the brother side, and sister side, and then my side, putting myself last, I have to merge it all together. There's some sides that are hypersexual and cuss and do what I want. And then there's some sides that are holy and spiritual. I have the word, which is God and spirituality, and I have the world, which is life and people. People who speak the word, which is God and spiritual, sometimes don't understand people of the world. They wonder why they act certain ways because they never experienced those things. And people of the world sometimes don't understand the word because they think they're too holy and they think they're better. So I want to merge the 2, the word and the world. Not be lukewarm, but be transformed by the renewing of the mind. So, as we bridge this gap of the word and the world, the whole entire world, just one girl with a dream, with a hope and a vision. And that's why nobody likes me. Because I'm different. There's a lot of people that don't even like themselves. And that's why they don't like me. And just because I didn't know who I was, or where I was, or when I was, or why I was the way I was, now I can merge into one person and actually get it together. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Subscribe to my channel, like it, share it, and meet your girl on Coach Classy Sassy. I would say either Tuesday or Thursday. I'm narrowing it down because I love these talks with you guys.